Have you ever wondered why a TikTok trend in one country suddenly blows up worldwide? Or why a crisis in one part of the globe affects us here at home? That's globalization in action. In today's lesson in our course Contemporary World, we will discuss, what is globalization? When we hear the word globalization, many think of free trade, multinational corporations, or the internet. But globalization is more than just economics. It's a complex process of connections that affect our daily lives. In fact, scholars define globalization in different ways. Some focus on economic integration, the movement of goods, capital, and services across borders. Others argue it also includes social, cultural, and political processes that reshape communities and identities worldwide. In the late 20th century, globalization was mostly understood as an economic phenomenon. Authors like Danny Roderick and William Klein emphasized free trade and financial markets. But critics soon pointed out, globalization cannot be reduced to economics alone. Scholars such as Cerny and Jones highlighted how globalization also touches society, politics, and culture. By the early 2000s, scholars widened the lens. Roland Robertson, Manfred Steger, and Hebron and Stack argued that globalization includes the flow of ideas, values, and worldviews. Jan Schulte reminded us, globalization isn't just about removing borders, it's also about how time and space collapse. A tweet today can reach the world in real time. And it isn't only Western-driven. For instance, China and the Philippines had strong trading ties as early as the 10th century. One of the most cited scholars, Manfred Steger, describes globalization as the expansion and intensification of social relations and consciousness across world time and world space. Expansion means creating new global networks, like student exchanges or NGOs. Intensification means making old connections stronger and faster, like high-speed financial trading between London and New York. And importantly, globalization changes how we perceive the world. Through the internet, cable TV, and social media, the world feels smaller, distance collapses to just a click. Now, let's clarify, globalization is a process, but globalism is an ideology. Globalization equals the reality of expanding and intensifying connections. Globalism equals the belief that global integration is always good, spreading freedom and democracy. This distinction is important, because many critiques of globalization are actually critiques of globalism. Anthropologist Arjun Appadurai gives us another lens. He argues there are multiple globalizations, not just one. He calls them scapes. Ethnoscape, the movement of people and migration. Mediascape, the flow of culture through TV, film, TikTok, and K-dramas. Technoscape, the spread of technology and innovation. Financescape, the global circulation of money and investments. Ideascape, the spread of political ideas, like democracy or human rights. Each scape shows us that globalization is not a single process, but many overlapping ones. So, what is globalization? It is more than free trade. It is the expansion and intensification of human connections across borders, across time, and across cultures. Globalization has economic, political, cultural, and technological dimensions. It is not only about the West, but also shaped by Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and indigenous societies. Most importantly, globalization shapes our sense of time and space, making the world feel smaller, faster, and more connected than ever before. Before we move on, I'd like you to think, in your own words, how would you define globalization in one sentence? If you're watching this on YouTube, write your answer in the comments section below. That's it for today. Up next, we'll be interrogating globalization, digging deeper into what it really means and how it shapes our lives. Don't miss it. That's it for today's lesson. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss the next one. This is Social Studies Simplified, where we understand the past, engage the present, and shape the future.